Congress is gathered into a hot and stuffy Philadelphia room on the 2nd of July in 1776. An inked parchment is brought before the group of men only 17 days after author Thomas Jefferson began writing it. The next 2 days are then spent editing and revising his work, and on July 4th, 1776, the writing is accepted, finished, and it is signed. Through all of the changes made in that humid Philadelphia room, the opening line of the famed Declaration of Independence has remained the same. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Men, Oxford Dictionary. Now, a human being of either sex. People. It is humankind. It's society. All men are created equal. Footnote. Not all men. Men. Now. Historically selective. America is a flawed society because of the racism and sexism and homophobia that have been present throughout her history and in today's culture. But she can change. Our peers are paying detrimental prices because we are silent to today's issues. And history has never looked kindly upon the people who sat in silence. Hate crime. Oxford Dictionary. Now, a crime motivated by racial, sexual, or other prejudice, typically one involving violence. The deadliest hate crime to have ever taken place on South Carolina soil was not in the 1930s, was not in the 1940s, wasn't even in the 1960s during the Civil Rights era. The deadliest hate crime to have ever taken place on South Carolina soil was in 2015, when 21-year-old white supremacist Dylan Roof walked into a historically black church and killed 9 people during a Sunday school worship. The attack was so bad that people even began to compare it to a Birmingham, Alabama church bombing that killed 4 people and wounded 20 others during the Civil Rights era. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Famed quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. As of May 11th, 2017, Dr. King's dream still has not been accomplished. People of all different backgrounds are still bullied and harassed and killed due to their ethnicity. Hate crime. Now, a normal occurrence in the society of which we live. Solution. Oxford Dictionary. Now, a means of solving a problem or dealing with a difficult situation. It is standing up for people of color against bullying. It is standing up for people of color against biases. It is getting onto your Snapchat or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and posting about these issues and not being silent to them in the hopes that someone in a political position of power will see it, will read it, and will do something about it. It is small steps forward into the right direction. Rape culture. Oxford Dictionary. Now, a society whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of trivializing sexual assault or abuse. In 2006, a rapist in Manitoba, Canada, was given no jail time after the judge decided that the woman, who was forced into intercourse in the woods along a highway, was met under, quote, inviting circumstances. Her and her friend were wearing tube tops with no bra, high heels, and plenty of makeup. They made their intentions publicly known that they wanted to party, end quote, make.com. This is an example of victim blaming, which is a very common part of rape culture. Victim blaming is when the victim of sexual assault is blamed for what happened to them because of their history of sexual activity, what they were wearing, and or their lack of sobriety. Rape culture. Now, the society of which we live. Solution. Now, it is not letting rape be watered down to lunchtime jokes. It is recognizing the fact that rape is never, under any circumstances, the victim's fault. It is recognizing the fact that men can get raped too. It is recognizing the fact that women can be rapists too. It is small steps in the right direction. Conversion therapy. Now, the psychological treatment or spiritual counseling designed to change a person's sexual orientation from homosexual to heterosexual, or change a person's gender identity to the one assigned to them at birth, based in pseudoscience, or science based in incorrect factual evidence. Wikipedia definition. When transgender girl Leila Alcorn came out to her parents about her gender identity at age 14, when she explained to them that she was their little girl and not the little boy that they thought that she was, they refused to accept her. At age 16, she asked to begin undergoing transition treatment, which is the use of hormones to physically modify secondary sex characteristics, and they refused. Instead, they sent her into a conversion therapy where they used shock therapy and verbal and physical abuse to try and deter her away from the way that she felt. On December 28th, in 2014, Leila Alcorn ended her own life when she walked in front of oncoming traffic on Interstate 71 in London, Ohio. It is this type of rejection, according to the Trevor Project, which is an organization designed to help stop LGBT suicide, that makes LGBT youth ages 10 to 24 4 times more likely to make a suicide attempt, and 4 to 6 times more likely to make a suicide attempt that involves hospitalization due to injury, poisoning, or overdose than their heterosexual peers. This type of practice, conversion therapy, is illegal in 43 US states for minors. Indiana makes this list. Conversion therapy. Now, see child abuse. Solution. Now, it is standing up for your queer and genderqueer peers and letting them know that there's nothing wrong with them for the way that they feel. It is recognizing the fact that between each and every one of us sitting in this room, we have our differences, but that it's okay. And that we need to accept those differences instead of trying to understand them or analyze them or try to figure out why we're different. It's using somebody's correct pronouns, whether they're in the room or whether they're not. It is small steps forward into the right direction. America has racist and sexist and homophobic values embedded into her history, but she can change. And it is through our generation that this can and that this will be accomplished. This world is our world, and it is our job to unravel the racism and sexism and homophobia from the stitches woven into Old Glory's stars and stripes. Solution. Now. Our hope, our dreams, our revolution, our generation. Thank you.